Welcome to Ongerup Football Association's Round 3 wrap for Saturday, April 28, 2018. I'm Gary Bartholomew. With me is Association President since 2001. Good morning, Kim Parsons.
Good morning to you, Gary, and morning to your listeners.
Any surprises on Saturday for you, Kim?
Well, there was. I think a big surprise up at Newdigate in the Jerramungup-Newdigate game. It certainly wasn't the way I thought it'd go. And a really good game of footy went to that one. And I think the late race Pingerup game against Ongerup, the scoreboard there was a lot more even than or closer than I thought that would have been too.
Okay, well, we'll start off at Newdigate with the juniors, where Jerramungup 11-18-84 defeated Newdigate 2 goals straight, 12, 72-point margin. The major goal scorers for Jerry were Taj Wisewood 3 and Darcy Barrett 2, and Miki Humphreys 2 for Newdigate. No best players given for Jerry in this one. In the reserves, or either side actually, in the juniors. For the reserves, Newdigate winning this one by 41 points over Jerry. Maybe a surprise result here as well, Kim.
I would think so, yes.
10-3-63 to 3-4-22. Goals 2 each to Hayden Richardson, Simon Cogley, Harrison Walter and Dale Ness. The best for Newdigate, Harrison Walter and Christian Walker. And we move on to the league game now. Jerramungup 27-point surprise winners over Newdigate, 16-11, 107 to 12-8-80. Goals for Jerry were Ben Hislop 4, Andy Solomon 3. Newdigate, Jared Offer 5, Jacob Beecroft, Aaron Gualfi and Chris Wollaston 2 each. For Jerramungup, the best were Jaden Brooks, Ben Hislop, Bill Brown, and Newdigate, Michael Hams, Darcy Thompson, Jacob Conti. And the game comment, Jerry's superior ball skills and decision-making gave them the upper hand for most of the day and led them to a comfortable, well-deserved win. And
I'd have to agree with whoever wrote those comments, Gary. I think it's a very good observation how the game went. It was a really good game of footy. First quarter, the scores were 3-6 to Jerry, 2-3 to Newdigate, and you sort of felt that Jerry, they had 9 shots on goal to 5. They were on top a bit, but by the 5-minute mark of the second quarter, Newdigate had kicked 4 goals in that 5-minute period, and they were just electric, on fire, hit the front, and you thought how far Newdigate, because I did go up there expecting Newdigate to win this game. In saying that, though, Jeremy Richardson didn't play and Charlie Newman, so 2 really big outs for Newdigate. But I thought they still had the firepower, and when they got on top, I thought it could have been curtains for Jerramungup, but Jerramungup then kicked the next 7 goals in that quarter to Newdigate kick one just after the siren at half-time to get, to have the score at 10-6 to 7-4, but, 7 goals straight that was too. It was just from really good ball use, and then it was just a struggle from then on. Jerry kicked 3 in the third quarter to Newdigate's 1, and in the last it was 4 goals to Newdigate and 3 to Jerry. So it was a real good game of footy. Very big surprise for me, but I think we'll read into it definitely without Charlie Newman in the ruck and Jeremy Richardson at centre half back. They're big outs for any team because they're such big, mobile men. But don't take anything away from Jerramungup. There was a lot of young kids played, and I thought their use of the ball, especially Ben Hislop, was absolutely outstanding. Wade Brown was very good, not mentioned there. Bill Brown, his last 2 weeks have been exceptional. They took the captaincy off him last year. He was captain, and it just didn't sit well with him for some reason. And he's back to the form that he was a few years ago. And Jaden Brooks in the ruck, although Newdigate didn't have a proper, a weekly ruckman in, Brooks dominated the ruck, and he was the best big man on the field by a long way. But there was other good players for Jerramungup, but Mick Hams for Newdigate, for the guy who's getting on in age a bit, he wouldn't mind me saying that, his pace and ability to run all day around the packs and in the centre is just outstanding. But all in all, really good game of footy to watch.
Excellent and great result for the association too, wasn't it?
It is, Gary, and there's a couple of pickups that Newdigate got in last week, saw them firsthand for myself, and they're very classy players, and they'll only get better when they get to work a bit more with their own teammates, with the Newdigate boys, and, they're probably getting to know one another a little bit at the moment, and they'll get better and better. They'll be a better side the next time they play Jerramungup with those players in, but, let's take nothing away from Jerry. They played exceptionally well.
One of the new boys for Newdigate, Kim, kicked 2 goals, 21-year-old Jacob Beecroft. He played at Newtown Conning up at in the Esperance District Football Association from 2011 to 15, and then Southerners for in the Ravensthorpe and Districts Football Association the last 2 seasons. So he's the first time I've spotted his name in the goal kicking or the best. So
yeah, and he played pretty well too. He goes all right. He certainly didn't disgrace himself. But it was just one of those games. Big Dino. He didn't have the influence that he can normally have. Travis Parsons played on him, giving away about 25 kilos and 10 inches, I reckon. But he made him earn every kick that he got. I'll give you the tip there. And it was an interesting duel, that one. But Dino probably still took the points, especially for the use of extra 350-metre penalties he got, but which were a bit bewildering at times. But anyway, it was a good game of footy, and I think both sides would have come away pretty happy and played in really good spirits.
At Pingerup in the juniors, Ongerup 10-11-71. Lake Grace Pingerup 1 goal straight, 65-point margin, no goal scorers or best players given. In the reserves game, Lake Grace Pingerup 117-point victors over Ongerup in this one, 17-17. 119 points, just 2 points, and again, no goal kickers or best players. So we move on to the league game. Ongerup 14-13-97, Lake Grace Pingerup 6-8-44, the margin 53 points. Goals for Ongerup, Craig Bolton 5, Sean Hodson 3, and Scott Anderson 2. And the best for the Bulldogs, William Limbert, Scott Anderson, and Kieran DeSando. And for Lake Grace Pingerup, Luke Bairstow, Jack Carruthers, Bailey McGlynn. And the game comment, pardon me, good quality game with Ongerup running away with quality skills.
Yeah, well, it looks a bit that way, don't know. They just, we know the depth that Ongerup have got, although their reserves seem to be struggling a little bit at the moment when you hear that. But they, they got so much depth in the 20 that they have, 22 in the, each week in their league side, and good goal kickers, and then you've put this Scott Anderson, who I haven't seen, but all reports and certainly knows how to play the game, and he's in their best players again this week. And Lukey seems to have to do a fair bit on his own, Luke Bairstow, and he's their best. He's probably still in the best couple of players in the league. He just works and works and works all day and never ever gives in. And big win for Ongerup once again. And I can't see anyone beating them at this stage. Newdigate, when they get all players on the track, might give them a run for it, but they seem to be a little bit better than most of the sides in the league at this stage.
Yeah, you'd be interested to know 2 of those names actually had beginnings in our region. Scott Anderson, who you've mentioned, a 23-year-old from Ongerup, was a Oz kicker at Tambalup in 2006. He ended up at the Maris Junior Football Club for a few years. That's in the Claremont zone, and then after a break, joined the uni in WA Amateurs from 2012 until last year. But also in 2015, he had a stint with Cooker and Dumbleyong in the uppers. So he's been around the region, and he's obviously come back. And the other one was Kieran DeSando. He's only a 19-year-old. He started with Ongerup as an Oz kicker himself in 2007, stayed until 2011, and then played for South Mandurah Junior Footy Club for 5 seasons, and last season made his league debut for the Peel Football League, and also represented that league. So those 3 players mentioned picked up might be handy come landmark.
Yeah, pretty handy players to have come to your town, aren't they? After you're the reigning premiers and you get those sort of players roll up, you got to be pretty happy with your club when that sort of thing happens. Yeah, let's hope they're available for landmark.
Yes. The OFA, where the whole family plays together. Moving on to ladders, Kim.
With the ladders at the moment, well, it's hard to believe this, but Ongerup's still on top, obviously, with a massive percentage, just 2 wins from only 2 outings. Jerramungup moved into second spot from played 3 and won 2. Then we have Boxwood played 2 and won 1. Newdigate played 2 and won 1, and Lake Grace Pingerup yet to open their account in the league. Into the juniors, that's the way it's written here. Jerramungup Juniors 3 from 3 on top, the only undefeated team there. Boxwood Hills 2 from 2. There's 2 undefeated teams. They will play each other in a couple of weeks. Ongerup 1 win from 2 outings. Lake Grace Pingerup, no wins, and Newdigate Juniors, no wins. Into the reserves, Boxwood 2 from 2, on top, only team undefeated at this stage. Lake Grace Pingerup, Newdigate, Ongerup, and Jerramungup, all with 1 win apiece, and in that order on percentage.
And the top league goal kickers?
Well, we didn't have many added for the weekend with Phil Rumble. Whether he played the whole game, he's only kicked 1 goal for one to be still on top with 8. Jared Offer from Newdigate kicking the 5 to move to 7. Craigie Bolton Jr. with 5 to also go on to 7. Kane Pinney didn't kick any goals. He's on 7. And Chris Wollaston from Newdigate Footy Club kicking 2 to go to 6.
Round 4 fixtures this Saturday, May 5, Norangarup versus Boxwood Hill at home, last year's grand finalists.
Well, you'd think at this stage of the year, I'll stay with Ongerup. Ongerup were at home, did you say?
Yes.
And I think with the home ground advantage and the form that they're in, Boxwood will have to be really on their best game to get to beat Ongerup. And it would be really good for the comp if it's a good close game. But for me, at home, I'll go with Ongerup.
Lake Grace Pingerup host a Newdigate.
In what's normally a really good derby, it doesn't seem to matter where they are on the ladder. They get fairly physical this game. They like to play it hard and have a good go at each other. But I think just on the form, you'd have to go with Newdigate. But Lake Grace Pingerup haven't been disgraced in any of the games, that's for sure. They were very unlucky to lose the game against Jerramungup, and then Jerramungup come out and win, reasonably comfortably against Newdigate at Newdigate. So if you're looking at horses, the form, you'd have to give Lake Grace a chance just on, the last time that these sides played Jerramungup. But I think I'll go with Newdigate to win that one, though.
Okay, and of course, Jerramungup a bye. Now, I often say, Kim, that the OFA, that's football the way it used to be. Here's an example. Lake Grace Pingerup, a reserves coach, George Chirkop, published his side's positions for last Saturday's game on the club's Facebook page on Thursday night after training. I reckon that's an excellent idea.
Yeah, well...
It just reminded me of the old days when the teams were published in the West Australian newspaper before game day.
Well, it's if you can do it, if you've got the players around the club and you can do it, it is a very good idea. But I think a lot of them, especially with our reserves, Gary, they're still on the phone at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning trying to find the last few players. So, it's hard to do it, but it would be a great thing to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else?
No, that's about it for me, Gary. We're meeting obviously on Tuesday night, and we'll see all our members and delegates at that.
Okay, thank you, Kim Parsons. Until next week, this is Gary Bartholomew wishing you all the best in shooting for your goals.